What is upstream? All right, we are live. Let's see how long it takes. See if some people join here. See if some people join. Yeah, taking a little bit. So, but we're just talking the latest 3D printing news. Yo! I wasn't sure if anyone would join. You are the first one here, buddy. Just talking some 3D printing, see, or whatever, I guess, if people have questions. Nice. You can see me. Nice. First ever live stream, you know? So we'll see how this goes. I'm just live streaming through YouTube. And honestly, it seems to be good quality, at least on my end. Hopefully, it looks good on your end. All the way from Brisbane. I can't say I know where that is honestly. Brisbane. But I'm not necessarily the smartest person of the bunch, you know? Australia, dang, nice. The thing that I know about Australia is that everything is expensive there. Based on what you guys tell me in the comments, 3D printers and all. I don't know if it's your taxes or what. Hey, I appreciate you watching the channel, honestly. North of Denver, wife's from Willow Creek. I think that I always forget the city that she's from, but still have some family down in Colorado Springs. So, you guys working on any projects? Who's working on some stuff? You know, we got 7 people for my first ever live stream. Not bad, not bad, not bad. Camera's over here, my monitor's over here, so it's a little like, and I have the computer down, like yeah, it's a little bit crazy. But what's everybody working on? Friday? We're in the weekend. Hopefully, you guys got some stuff going on. You're working on some stuff. Hopefully, let me know. Can you guys let me know if the sound quality is good? First off, sound quality and um, camera quality, if it's good. Because I haven't pulled it up myself. I just see what YouTube is showing me. Cumico lamps. Okay, so awesome. Appreciate that. Looking for a new printer. I want to say just on the 3D printed lamps, this is an underrated thing. 3D printed lamps are an underrated thing. Okay. I want to try to get an LED strip because I just did the practical prints and I did the Imperial Light. I do want to see if I can do the LED strip and it'll be brighter because I have a strip somewhere around here that I did one of Fulves or something, his models, and I might work with him again for Halloween. So let's see. Looking for a new printer, 600 millimeter. That's going to be tough. I feel like those are all crazy, insanely expensive, and they're all usually not great. But good luck. I guess if you build your own. How I got into 3D printing. Okay, so Star Wars collectibles, insanely expensive. So I wanted to build my own. That is honestly it. I like making like masterpieces that people walk in your room and they're like, this is crazy. Like that's where my life-size battle droids came in. That's what I wanted to make. Helmets were really expensive to buy replica helmets. And I just really started to get a little more artistic as I got older. I was never artistic growing up. So that's kind of where that came in. And so sometimes it's like the only time you can get stuff. Like, where would you buy a life-size battle droid like on the market? And I want to build my own R2D2. Yeah, not building. That would be multi-material shoes. Creator 5 cannot handle fiberology 30D so far, but TPU Air is good. Huh. I don't print much TPU, and that sucks. When I do like 3D printer reviews, I'm finding like every single person has so many different things that they're 3D printing. So you kind of have to find like a reviewer that matches what you print. So like I may not 3D print the same things. Like I'm in the middle of a 3D print review that I just got finished testing the printer and I just printed like a whole bunch of ABS ASA, or I guess it was mainly ABS. So Brighton, Colorado. It's 2 people from Colorado turning in. Nice. Just got done explaining that the some of my family still lives in Colorado Springs. Not building it, that's for sure. Yeah, that I don't think I would ever build a 3D printer, and I probably wouldn't even recommend building a 3D printer for most people. I looked into Rat Rig for like about a day, and then I was like, this just seems way too complicated. And yeah, it just doesn't seem great. New Hampshire, East Coast. A How hot is it right now in New Hampshire? Because I'm pretty sure today it touched like 113 here. Fahrenheit, of course. But yeah, and no matter what anybody says, it's a dry heat. It doesn't matter. It's still hot, right? Like you don't want to go outside. We don't want to put the kid in the car because like sitting in the back seat, just insanely hot. Like, yeah, not fun. So anyway, so yeah. Anyway, I'm probably gonna do a lot of filler talking because at this point, again, I don't like the silence. Hit 92. Yeah, see, well, 92 and you're in Colorado, 82, but rained and it was crazy humid. But see, this is like kind of monsoon time in Arizona, so or the Phoenix Valley area. I don't really like saying exactly where I'm at, but um it monsoon time. So can you imagine it rains and it's still 110 degrees? It feels like a rainforest, like even in the morning. I think I got up at 5 a.m. and it was still like in the 90s. So I mean, I guess you take what you can get, right? As far as the weather, we're definitely looking at moving like somewhere more up north potentially. So get out of this crazy, but not for a while. Not for a while. Hopefully the channel takes off and I can move. But it is what it is, you know? We got 14 people in here. That's crazy. First ever live stream. I just wanted to see what you guys were up to, talk to. What is my go-to filament brands? Okay, so this is kind of a cop out answer for ABS, ASA, Bamboo Lab. I just like throwing it in the AMSs and it just automatically reads it. I'm a sucker for the Bamboo Lab printers. You guys know that if you watch most of my videos, it's the easiest thing to use. I've been using ABS. I put it into another printer that I'm testing, and yeah, it just works for ABS, ASA. For PETG, I've been using Overture. It's just cheap. And then for PLA, I mix it up. I'll buy from any brand for PLA. Most of the time, PLA just prints. But I've worked with Sunlu. I've used Sunlu. I don't know. They're black and white though lately. I've been having troubles with it. Maybe it needs dried. Maybe it's not coming dried because the sealed packages do seem a little bit, uh, you know, a little bit loose. But that's mainly what I've been using. Don't really go outside of ABS, ASA, PTG, PLA. That much. I got some TPU glass fiber that I have yet to try and some ASA carbon fiber. I got PETG carbon fiber, just haven't used it. I don't know what to use it for. I thought about putting it or making a HEPA filter kind of inlet dryer hose or vent hose for my charcoal filter setup I got going on. Even high here, it's in the high 70s, low 80s. Dude, that'd be so nice. Like sit outside and drink some coffee on the patio or something. Got your first ever printer 2 months ago. Nice. P2S 580 hours. Dude, I've never used the P2S, but I still would recommend that printer for like everybody because you get all the new screens and stuff that Bamboo Lab's been doing. I still think they're coming out with that tool changer or like the uh, you know, this like smaller tool head. It's not going to look like, I think people are going to be, it's going to use those Vortex nozzles. It has to, I feel like. Just picked up the A2L, and honestly, I'm very pleased with the purchase. It goes super. And on A2L, see, a lot of people did hate on the A2L, and it took me a little bit to sit down and like think about it. The A1 is still like the A1 is what got me back into 3D printing. Like the A1 is so solid, and it's just crazy. I think it's underrated. The price for the A1 being a bed slinger is a little bit pricier than every single other brand, right? It's like what I don't know what it is now, like 379, and normally you get them for like 250, 300, but it's still the best one, and I feel like you get your money's worth with it. Got a second AMS 2 yesterday. Nice. I definitely need to get more AMS2s. I still have the AMS1 on my P1S. It's iffy sometimes. It still works. 118 in your garage and AJ. Yeah, dude, you need the the mini split. It's the only way I can do videos is the mini split. It's been the best investment, and I definitely couldn't afford it at the time, but it has paid for itself, at least for me doing content because I record in my garage a lot. That whole new studio setup I have is all in the garage. I got blanket. I mean, I've taken over the garage from my wife. She wanted to park in the garage. Not happening anymore, but with the content, she understands to an extent, I guess. But yeah, I mean, the support on the channel has been crazy, first off, over the last year. I have a print finishing the Elegoo PLA metal. How is that? It's been awful. Dang. Okay. I asked, how is it too soon? And you've dried it for 8 hours too? Yeah, see, that's crazy. I've been using Sunlu PETG Bone White, Tamori Pet G Red lately, and it's pretty good when dried. Use the Voxel, and I've seen Voxel, on some advertisements, basically, like through like CNC Kitchen and stuff. Um, and I can't remember his name. The layers one. Which seems like quality stuff. I just don't like to spend too much on things. On PLA, I guess. Have you talked about the Infomec MX Pro? Yes, MX and the MX Pro. I have on, I think it's like, I think it was titled The Cheapest Tool Changer. It's just cautionary, because it's so cheap. You just don't know how much it's going to like actually be put out there. Flying Bear apparently is a reputable company. They had reviews on like Aurora Tech, but like it's so cheap, you just don't know. That's like the problem. Like, yeah, mini split it is. Yeah, I got an 18K BTU unit and it holds up. It's able to keep my garage at 75 with no insulation in the garage. However, I have pretty heavy insulation in the attic that probably spilled over the garage. I don't know what it's I don't go in my attic. But I do have a new build as well. So that's the thing. But I do know my walls are not insulated. Bamboo Lab sent me an X2D. I want to pay for P2S. I want the P2S. Listening to one of your videos was why I was on the road. Nice. Road as in a truck driver. Cobra 3 Max. How is the Cobra 3 Max? Have you used it a lot? Because I haven't used mine much since I did like the review video. I printed some giant raptor head. I showed it on my channel like last summer. And it's just been sitting in my garage. I've actually been meaning to make sure it works because the last time I homed it, it was not homing correctly. And sell it actually, but I just haven't gotten around to it. I bought bulk hyper PLA from Creality, but I like the Sunlu matte stuff. I'm too lazy to dial in. Yeah, like I've heard Sunlu, like I think the FDM miniatures subreddit really likes one of the Sunlu grays. Oh, stringy. I think you were talking about the Elegoo metal. Yeah, that always sucks when you get new PLAs and you just can't figure them out. I hate like changing the temperatures and everything. Like I only change temperatures for the most part. And because I feel like they should work if you change temperatures, but almost every single PLA I use prints at 220 pretty fine. But then Elegoo PLAs, I find you have to print them really low, like 205 even. Because when I first got the Centauri Carbon, that thing was the default profiles, I think were at 205, it seemed really low to me with Bamboo Lab always being 220. But there's another link that is dead. It is showing upcoming. That's weird. Let me see. I don't think I can manage it right now. I'd rather gamble on the MX at the price. The Frozen Arco was a big investment. Yeah, that Frozen Arco. I didn't even know. I think you guys can correct me if I'm wrong, but I think that the Arco was it Kickstarter? And I think that was before I really started doing videos. So unfortunately, like I've contacted Frozen to possibly work with them, but I don't think they haven't had much come out outside of the Arco, and it's just kind of meh, right? What are your thoughts on the Lightmake L4? I have not looked into it too much. I need to. And maybe I should do like another upcoming products type video to keep everybody informed on what is coming. Always due precautions on those, right? But because you have so many products coming right now. But I keep seeing the ads on Facebook for that. I think that's the one with the 4 tool heads, um, if I'm not mistaken, where that's been advertised, but it yeah, I just haven't looked into it too much because I just feel like there's a whole bunch of Kickstarters about ready to go off. Like, you have all these UV printers, like the Morpho, um, a lot of like, I think you just had Xtool started shipping their UV printer, and then of course you have the Haygears one, which I don't know. What do you guys think about the Haygears one? Like the 3D print stuff not really being shown right now, or 3D prints not really being shown. Also, I'm gonna look into the upcoming live stream thing. Let's see if I can check it out on the screen. Does show I'm live, but I do see. Let me see if I can just delete it from my YouTube studio. Would you see or been able to test the new Elegoo dryer? I don't know its name. I think it's like the HT. I don't know. I could probably contact Elegoo. They haven't said anything about it to me since I worked with them with the Centauri Carbon 2, but I could probably ask and see potentially because I kind of need one. But I don't even know. I don't think I've signed an I'm trying to remember if I signed an NDA for something. But there is like some sort of it's been shown off. The InsLogic dry box is coming soon. So I'm on the list for that. I mean, I don't think it's like a dryer or anything, but at least I can keep my ASA in it when I'm not printing props and stuff. That's kind of my thought there. Maybe like decorate it like Star Wars related or something. There's just not enough time in the day, right? For all these projects. No belts on that one. That seems wild. Right? Like no belts on a 3D printer. What is it? Is it just like I'm gonna have to look into it. I will wait on all the reviews for some of the stuff. It's kind of sketchy. A lot of Kickstarters, but I definitely need to upgrade my printer. I think you're using a Creality, right? Like one of the K2s or K1s. I think when I watched one of your videos for the minis, you were using one of the Creality printers. I just ever since I think it's been I forgot about this live stream to see if I could delete the other one. I think it's like been yes, let me delete this one. Delete. Hopefully this fixes that live stream thing for the duplicates and doesn't take me offline. It says it deleted it. Where was I going with that? Oh, Creality. Like back in the day, my very first FDM printer, because I started with resin. I bought a Anycubic Photon, like one of the really small ones, because I thought I would get really into minis, but it stunk up my apartment so bad. I ended up printing on like my balcony. I would put a box over it so the sun didn't hit it. It was just a complete mess. So then when I moved into a house that I had more room at that rental, my very first printer was the CRS 10 Pro V2 as far as FDM. Everybody on YouTube said this was like the most like you set it up out of the box and it is ready to go. I had a bent carriage. I had and all this stuff just did not work. I think I printed one thing on that $600 printer and never ever got anything successful off of it again because back then there weren't that many like guides to tell you like this is what is potentially wrong. Look for this. And there's just so many things that could go wrong. Thoughts on the Sunlu AMS light dryer? I mean, it's a dryer, right? I'm assuming Sunlu's going to do it good. They offered to send me one, but at the time, I didn't think I would ever dry film it, and I could use my AMSs to dry film it, or at least I could have. I have the AMS 2 that still dries, and I sold the S1 Max, so I don't have that anymore. But I used to have a couple AMSs that could dry stuff, so I wasn't worried about it. And so, yeah, do you think that Anycubic Cobra 3 is a good printer? I think it's hit or miss with Anycubic. So sometimes you get a good one, and I've seen people put thousands of hours on them, and then sometimes you get one that has a software problem. Like that's how I kind of feel about it. But so far with most of my Anycubics, it's been fine. They're fine. Most printers nowadays are fine. My K1 is held together with super glue. Yeah, like the Creality. Okay, and I don't like saying like I don't like to talk about certain things, but like Creality is one of those brands that they every time they contact me, we'll have conversations back and forth, and it just goes nowhere. I don't understand what they're doing. You like the Cobra 3 Max? I use it strictly for cosplaying in larger items. Yeah, the bigger printers are what's nice for cosplay. I don't think I think like the H2S is like the perfect size. Unfortunately, like it's so expensive for that. Hopefully soon there's more options in that range, but um yeah, I love the H2S bed size. That's the main thing is where you can print helmets one full go, has the chamber heater, has everything. I think it's like the H2S to me is like the perfect cosplay 3D printer. But if you're printing PETG, you can use the bed slingers like the Cobra 3 Max. They're just so big and they take so much power when they start up, and to keep them heated because it is that open frame, that's where you run into some of the issues. The X-axis rods were shifting plaques. Yeah, see, that seems like the Creality experience. Yeah, that's the Creality experience for you. Ah, man. What else you guys got going on? I just figured I would come on here and chill for a little bit. Do I know how long I'm gonna live stream for? Absolutely not. Like, let me do, 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 do. Just give me one moment, guys. Do, do, do. All right. XX is Cobra 3 Max. Why do I not do resin anymore? Okay, so the thing with resin, well, not only do you need space, but I print ABS and ASA, so it's kind of like counterintuitive where you're saying, okay, well, you're already dealing with more of the stinky materials, the toxic materials, right? When you're printing, because I do think that people don't take ABS, ASA, the styrene and stuff as serious as they should. So that's where it doesn't make sense that, okay, why are you still, doing resin, blah, 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 or not doing resin? I still have 3 resin printers. Okay. So 3 resin printers, the Photon P1. I still have the Photon that I first bought, and I have like a Saturn. I sold a Jupiter. I used to have a Jupiter. But the reason I don't really do it anymore is because when resin is out, it's constantly that smell, right? But ABS, as soon as it's done printing, you let it settle for a little bit, and there you go. As long as you didn't let it stick to your walls and stuff, I think that happens with ASA and ABS. It can be that like sticky smell, and that's why you get all that residue in your printer, and you got to clean up your printers, even though I'm terrible at that. But that's why I think it's just the cleanup, wearing gloves and getting it on your hands. And then if you spill it, and it's just messy. I think that's why I don't do resin. I did end up getting like a Grow 10 setup where I think it was very manageable. You can put it through a carbon filter, and I had it all pretty well ventilated, and it would go outside. But um yeah, that's just why it's just harder, and then takes up a lot of room, and making sure all the prints are cured after and cleaned off, and there's just a lot to deal with post processing, and then you're not even done painting it, but you don't have to sand the stuff. There are some Star Wars Greeblies. I have a laser. This company's name is funny, but Laser Pecker actually sent me a diode laser that I want to work on building some Star Wars control panels. I'm actually doing like a light box, and so I'm going to wire it with LEDs. That's going to be a whole video. I paid a modeler. I actually reached out on my channel and did a post and paid a modeler to do the light box for me. He modeled everything so I could just sit the acrylic in there in layers. And you can, with a diode laser, you can only really do black acrylic. and a few other colors, but they don't really work well. So he was able to set it up exactly so where I can have white acrylic behind the black acrylic that I'll laser out, and then we'll wire the LED box. So that's a project I'm working on. I forgot where this even started and how this came up, but oh, that's where I was going with this. But as far as like that kind of stuff in doing like Star Wars control panels, and eventually I would like if I'm live streaming, like this just kind of looks like I'm in the Millennium Falcon cockpit, or maybe there's like a Star Wars control panel here that's lit up, set up with LEDs and stuff. I'm going to use the resin printer. My plan is for Greeblies. And if you guys don't know what Greeblies are, those are just like the random like sci-fi type pieces. So that way you don't really have to sand them and stuff. Cobra X is also great, even if it's an A1 clone. Yeah, I think Anycubic has definitely gotten better. Their slicer is not great, but I think Anycubic has definitely gotten better over time. Like they used to be so bad, I feel like, but lately, and their resin printers are still really good. I think that based on what I've seen, I haven't used Elegoo's newer resin printers, but it seems like Elegoo in the resin space has taken a step backwards. And then they got better with the Centauri Carbon, but they're definitely a budget brand, like all around. And then Anycubic has solid resin printers. Like the Photon P1 is a really good resin printer. I'm assuming the P1 Max, I haven't watched any reviews on it, but I'm assuming it's the same. An idea for a video, maybe you do a video for parents on the best 3D prints for their children. So I like those ideas. The only thing is like I'm always worried about like if it's a potential liability, like if children choked on something. That's my only worry on that, but I guess you could always give disclosures and stuff like, "Hey, don't give these to kids that are not of age." I don't have a Facebook page. All I have is Facebook for personal. I do have an Instagram, but I rarely use it, and I do have a TikTok. Only spot wife would be okay with resin in the garage, but if it was like over 100, live in the Southwest, FDM is way simple. Yeah, so resin is funny because it actually does decent with higher temperature weather because the it keeps the resin like moving and like liquidy. It doesn't gloop up then. So, but in the wintertime, it's not great. But most of them have like heated vats now. 4 little ones under 4. Yeah, I got one that just turned 1 a couple days ago. So probably will end up having another soon. So we'll see. I mean, and by soon, I mean year or 2 out. But yeah, as far as socials though, I was going back. I just have TikTok. I post sometimes. I go through my phases with TikTok. I just love YouTube. I'm like obsessed with YouTube, and I think if you followed me from the beginning, I feel like every single month. Maybe I don't post as much. I go through my phases where I'm like posting every single day. I'm trying not to do that. I'm trying to get better quality videos. But I feel like if you've watched me from the beginning, especially, every single month my videos have gotten better, and that's something I really try to do. Like literally all of my money that I've made from YouTube has not been spent on any sort of personal stuff. It is all back into the channel for YouTube. Like, and if you guys like have ideas, I'm always open to ideas that you want to see. I do heavily research like video ideas and stuff. I think one of the next ones I want to do as far as like 3D prints video is how to elevate game night, like printing Catan stuff in I forgot what the term is, but it's like inlays for your board game so you can organize your board games, but Catan is like you make it so it's more like three-dimensional. Forge Core, I think that's his name, also has like these like board games that you can put on a bookshelf. I think that would be really cool. And it appeals to the masses. So you always got to think about that, unfortunately, when it comes to YouTube. My 3D printing news is kind of like my it's grown a lot like over the last like I don't know. I've been doing it for a while now. I think since last July. We've been doing the 3D printing news for over a year now, I guess. And the crazy thing is my first it's not really viral, but my first 3D printing news to really take off was actually the day that we were in the hospital for my daughter being born, which was crazy. So it was like fate that, hey, you got to keep doing the 3D printing news. Been messing with my new U1. Been having a blast. First tool changer and multicolor printer. Yeah, you know, disclosures, right? I always say, like, when companies send me stuff, so that Snapmaker sent me the U1. I pleasantly surprised. I go through my phases where I'm printing multicolor stuff, and it's way faster than a AMS, right? Like, no if, ands, buts about it. I would use the H2C if I felt like I could justify spending $2,000, but I just feel like I can't justify it enough right now. I've thought about it. I just, even for me, like, it's content, it's tax incentive, right? Like, and I haven't felt the need to spend that much money on one yet. Um, but as far as the snap maker, you could buy like two or three snap makers for that same price. And I know I'm potentially working on Snapmaker for a video next month, so we'll see how that goes. So they got some stuff coming. Not a new printer though, unfortunately. If the U2 hits or the U1L hits and they don't hit me up for that video, I'll be a little salty. Yeah, it's not a printer, unfortunately. I can say that much. I think it's stuff they've already released, but I'm not sure. I need to look into it, or at least people know about it. I think they're just getting closer to in stock dates for some stuff. I don't know. They didn't have me sign anything, so I hope I can say that. Yeah, it's definitely not a printer. I have not. Maybe it's because I'm not brand friendly sometimes on 3D printing news because I'll call out companies when they're messing up, even Bamboo Lab. But I've not been contacted by any of these companies doing tool changers. I can tell you that with certainty. I have one that I've been testing, but it's not a tool changer. Uh, so, and I might have said too much there. So we'll see. What else, guys? What else you got for me? Open book here. You know, YouTube questions, 3D printing questions. Well, I guess I'm gotta be a little careful, but yeah, pretty much every printer has their own issues, and even some people say the Snapmaker has issues. Um, like, because it's the filaments on the outside. So, like, if you're in a very humid environment, potentially you get, like, if you're using PETG, absorbs moisture. But I do think to a certain extent, the moisture issues for everything are overblown. But it's hard for me to say that with certainty because, of course, I live in an extremely dry environment. Oh, drama. Yeah. Yeah. Every single company has their own drama. It's crazy. Like this whole bond tech and the index thing, and then people saying it's okay. I'm never going to name people outside. I don't want drama as far as talking about drama. Um, but every single 3D printer company has something. And all I really ask, and I think all the community really ask, is like for companies to own it. Like, hey, look, we messed up and move on. Like, right? Like, I think if Bondtech came out and said, hey, look, we messed up. Unfortunately, like, we don't have financial feasibility to do certain things. If that's really the case, I think that would have been fine, right? Like, they're a small company. I think they only have 14 people who work for them or something like that. And I think if my main point, if in that video is like, if Bondtech would have just said, as soon as they realized they were going to ship those nozzles non-fully hardened, because they could have just said, hey, look, we did ship you hardened. It's that description that they put on their page that said print abrasives with zero fear of wear. If they never put that and they just put hardened, they could have just doubled down and said, "Hey, look, we did give you hardened nozzles." And technically they would have been correct, but they admitted that they intended it for the to be the 55 HRC or whatever in there. I need to find a way to make money with the tool changer so I can justify buying one. I need to find a way to just make money. I think we're all that way, right? We all need to find a way or want to find a way just to make money. Like, I've been trying to brainstorm stuff because I actually, like, got, like, a URL and everything for something that I planned on selling 3D prints, and not 3D prints, and, now with, like, lasers coming into the shop or my garage, that's what I call the shop. I always hesitate to call it my workshop because it is my garage, but I guess that is people's workshop, you know? With lasers coming in, potentially working with other laser companies for different lasers, tool changers, resin printers, CNC machine. I had one in the shop, but I had some stuff go wrong with it, so I just sent it back to the company and we called it that. Um, I do feel like I should be selling stuff and I should be doing more so I can make this my full-time job, which I'm not like terribly far away, not for me, but like for allowing my wife to stay home. You guys would be surprised how much money there is in YouTube sometimes in this niche. A lot of people say you don't make a lot of money, but it's usually because they're not getting a lot of views, honestly, or something. I don't know. It's not necessarily the views, but like this niche in 3D printing is one of the higher CPMs. Oh, or it's a pretty decent CPM or RPM, whatever you wanna say. The only thing I would want is, be something like a tool changer because I hate switching nozzle sizes, yeah, and honestly, the only one that is like well, there's really not that many tool changers on the market, it's crazy, and people act like Bamboo Lab is dead, but, like, because of their decision to release the H2C, but, like, that's been the only tool changer outside of the U1 that's in stock. You can buy it. You can only right now, you can literally only buy the U1 and the H2C in stock. Flash Forward is still on a pre-order. Like, it's crazy. Nozzlegate, great name. Yeah, I saw it somewhere on X and I just ran with it. Are those flexible dragons still a thing people go for? People say they are. Like, people say they still sell them when I'm on TikTok. TikTok is a totally different animal when it comes to the 3D printing niche. Like, it is. It is crazy. Just need a way to make money to fund the hobbies. I agree. And that was originally what my YouTube channel was for. And then I saw serious like potential in it. And I have gone all in. I've kind of put my college studies on the back burner to go all in for this. Is that a good idea? Probably not. But I am all in. When I say I'm all in, I am analytic out and I really try. Have there been any updates on the 3D printing bans and things? Yes, actually, there is a meeting, I believe, on Monday that they're doing like a meeting that's like normally not done, and they're talking about the AB. Is it 2047 or something? I forgot exactly what the numbers were again. But they are talking about it on Monday, and it is yes, it's still moving forward as of right now. So that is something that man, if that were to come to my state, I was telling my wife, I was like, man, we might have to move so we could 3D print everything. I mean, for the vast majority of people, it's a privacy issue, I think, more than anything. It's not about the guns, everyone's been talking about that or firearms. I don't know what I can say here on YouTube. But yeah, it's definitely one of those interesting political things or political spectrums. Bamboo Lab dead, right? That must be why I see them. Yeah, it's crazy. Like, so here's my thing when talking about Bamboo Lab. I personally really enjoy them. But I do think as far as, like, if you're a content creator and you constantly bash the most popular brand, you're only doing yourself more harm than good. While, yes, they have done some really, like, crazy things, right? Or I wouldn't even say they've done really crazy things because if you look at some things from a different perspective, like the whole thing they did with the software developer, they were only really blocking it so he doesn't access their cloud. I think if he wasn't actually accessing their cloud, then they wouldn't have shut him down. Firearms is how they try and frame it. Yep, it's all data. I mean, that's like one of the biggest businesses that no one talks about is data. You're on Google, they're taking your data, they're selling your data. You're on TikTok, definitely selling your data, or maybe they're not. I don't know. Maybe they say they're not, but they have your data. They show you that's what an algorithm is. Algorithms are all your data. you're on Facebook, you're on Google search, you're on YouTube, you're on like, you ever talk about something like you're talking about Papa John's and then a Papa John's ad pops up, algorithms listening all the time. You've been researching it to try to prevent it through the angle of scientifically proving that such a program to detect firearm parts, I'm assuming, is impossible. Oh, yeah. Wait, you did say impossible. It's a project, that's for sure. Yeah. I think that's the thing about the New York bill, right? It's probably going to come out and say, like, it's not possible. And then, so, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. California being California. A lot of times. It sucks to say because it's such a beautiful state. I like visiting California, going to Star Wars Celebration next year in California. I think it's in Los Angeles. That was a heck of a time getting tickets. But it's such a nice state, but there's just like you go there, there's a lot of homeless people and stuff. Every time I've been there, I see homeless. It's crazy. I think people take for granted how much Bamboo Lab has done for the mainstream 3D printing, which has helped open up the market, getting the other companies to innovate. I 100% agree. They do get credit for that. Um, I feel like Bamboo does get credit for it, but they get like so much negativity around the brand. But I think it's only the hardcore 3D printing niche, which I do think if you look at like YouTube viewership and that stuff, I do think the hardcore 3D printing niche is somewhat dying out. I wouldn't say dying because there's always going to be that bubble of people that do watch those videos. And there's always random videos that are very interesting and really well done that do pop off. But I do think when you're thinking like straight from the perspective of a hardcore 3D printer, let's tell you about the motors, let's tell you about the gears, let's tell you about belts and stuff. Some of that stuff is really boring, or at least it's boring to me, and I frankly don't care. And I think Bamboo Lab has done a good job capturing all of the people that really don't care about it. They don't have the time to do it because everyone's working 40 hours. They have two income families nowadays, right? With inflation and everything. And they've captured that market. And that's how they've done it very quickly. You don't need to know all that stuff. And people will bash you online if you don't know that stuff. That's stupid. I do agree about the high rate of false positives. I did the example. Uh, it's actually over there. Let me grab it real quick. Hopefully those papers didn't have anything on them behind me. Anyway, so like the AB law, right, would not allow me to print this. This for sure will come out as a false positive, right? This Battle Droid Blaster, and that was one of the examples I used in my video, which frankly did not get a lot of views. So I just assume it wasn't well done, but that's me. I take everything like that. If a video doesn't do well, I just assume I did a bad video, or it was too niche of a video. But yeah, I agree with the high false positives, and maybe I wouldn't have been able to print that. Can you buy Bamboo in Target in the USA? I have heard you can. I have not confirmed it for myself yet. I've seen pictures, but I guess it's only been like one or two pictures floating around. They've changed the packaging of their PLA and they've changed the packaging of their printers to be more retail store friendly, which makes sense. I think I'm trying to remember what other a lot of companies do that. If you buy something through them, you'll just get like a brown box. But then if you buy through like a retailer in the store, they have to make it look all nice and pretty. And so you get a different packaging. And definitely 3D printers are becoming more mainstream. And you look like you have a couple people confirming they've been at Target. But 3D printers definitely are becoming more mainstream. And I don't people always say it's like Disney and like all this stuff are going to try to shut that down. I don't think it's Disney because Disney would have shut down a lot of the cosplay community already, like Galactic Armory, Mr. Baddeley. They would have shut all that stuff down. Like they Disney doesn't. I say they don't care, but if they were like, if someone was sitting mass producing Mickey and Minnie Mouse figures or mass producing a Star Wars figure to sell in mass, they would shut you down. look at the people on Etsy. They get shut down all the time. But it's when you're if you're buying stuff, posting videos about like helmets and stuff, Disney doesn't care. It's the 3D model. You're doing it all for yourself. These people like Galactic Armory wasn't selling made Mandalorian helmets in mass quantities to really matter. And honestly, that would have been Hasbro more than anything because Hasbro makes that stuff, right? Okay. So yes, my local Target. Yep. Did you hear? This chat's starting to get a little popping, guys. I got to keep up. Can't explain stuff as much. Did you hear they were going to make an exception for entertainment industry printers? Yes, I did hear that. That was kind of laughable. Um, Local Best Buy or JO is part of Sunlu. I know it's so many crazy. And just like Ins Logic, who I did work with, is part of Sunlu as well. They are a sister company. It's crazy how many different like sister companies in the PLA space there is. My local Best Buy as well. That's how I got the A2L. Yes, I've heard also that Best Buy is one of the better places to buy your 3D printers because you can get an extended 4-year warranty through Best Buy, and Geek Squad is really good from what I have been told. No personal experience with it though. And I buy most of my electronics. I was trying to Oh yeah, like I bought this recently from uh get this. Like I have a Luna Ultra for my I'm terrible at shooting B-roll because I don't like taking my bigger camera that's like hooked up here to go shoot B-roll. So I bought like a Luna Ultra for B-roll through Best Buy just because like their return policies and normally their customer service is pretty good. Uh, what do you think is good second bed for the X2D? I like the Frostbite from BQ disclosures, right? They have sent them to me. But lately they've been sticking too well for PLA. A lot of people do like the other one. You can't be generic in the store. That was happening a long time ago, talking about the new Bamboo Lab boxes because they have a brand new box. But yes, you can't be generic. People think Disney way trigger happy than they actually are. They just hate if you threaten their bottom line. Yeah, they are not Games Workshop. Okay. If anyone knows about Games Workshop, uh, yeah, like I know people do. Agree with your statement. YouTube will continue to turn from how printers work to how you can use them. Think like woodworking. It becomes what you can do with the tools, not about 100%. Like there's that guy that makes like giant resin tables. He's gotten like millions of subscribers. I can't remember his name, like Blacktail Studio or something. 100%. People love to watch the process. People, and you guys can tell me if I'm right or wrong. People have less so like to watch like the like 3D printer aspect. That's one or some feedback I've gotten when I've done some research about how to grow my channel is that people care way less about the 3D printer because everyone knows how to use them because they've become so mainstream with Bamboo Lab. Like no one cares about tuning filaments. They do to an extent, right? Those videos do have their places for beginner videos, but they're a long burn. Like they're not those pop off videos. Maybe if they get advertised or something, they could. But everyone loves to watch the process of something starting from scratch and then becoming something nice. And that's where I wanted to start doing vlogs like Casey Neistat style, but maker style. And I it just takes so much time in the day to think about setting up the camera, doing all these things. And his videos are on another level. So, and they're simple yet so complex on how he records them. Um, but yeah, it's more of a problem like flash hand. Yeah, I the generic talking about the AB 2047, I think it is. I hopefully that's the number. But yes, the barrels and stuff is definitely an issue. And then like my trigger on like my cosplay gun definitely would trigger all those barrels. Just want to thank you for your honesty in your videos. Hey, I appreciate it, man. I try. You know, I don't do this for a living. I'm not relying on the money. There's some people who don't do reviews. They don't talk about certain things because, of course, they want to keep certain things coming in. Look, like if I didn't talk about the Bond Tech issue, I personally would have felt bad. If I didn't talk about the Bamboo Lab issues from before, I personally would have felt bad. They just kind of eat at me when I'm not talking about them. I don't really know how to explain it. It's just like one of those things where I would rather find like a really good coffee sponsor and let you guys know about this coffee I drink and maybe make a little less money, but they're still paying me like a affiliate or something. And I do drink coffee every single day, and I think lots of people who watch me drink coffee every single day. Or like I've seen ring brands and I've seen certain things because technically 96% of my audience is male. But it's one of those things that I think trying to find sponsors outside and maybe just do like project videos with companies that I'm not doing like all just showing cool things being built. But yeah. Yeah, chat is zooming. I saw the bottom message here. Trying to keep up. What's up, bro? Yeah, what's up, Blaze? I haven't posted any Star Wars projects to see you comment on them lately, unfortunately, or updates. Micro Center warranty, Best Buy warranty. We just got a Micro Center here. I guess I'm going to say just, but I think it was in the summer in Phoenix, and I have not yet gone. It is kind of a drive for me. But I'm going to be honest, I'm kind of a hermit and I like staying at home. I bought my second U1 at Micro Center. Yep, Micro Center is great. It seems like a really great place to go, honestly. What's your opinion on the X2D? I'm getting one, hopefully. My opinion that uh, I haven't used it, right? But my opinion on it is if the back didn't look so messy, a lot of people more would like it because it doesn't feel as Bamboo Labby. It's not as clean, but it seems like a very capable printer for most people. And if I was buying a build plate the size of 256, it would probably be the printer I get because of the heated chamber. And I think if there's any chance you're going to print ABS ASA and you're looking at the P2S and the X2D for $100, the Panda Breath cost $100. So there's like that upgrade money already. Plus you get a few extra things. Yeah, Games Workshop and Mark Scan don't get you started. I know. I saw your some of your posts about some of that stuff, but a lot of makers are about to pivot their small business to a movie prop business. Hey, like, what's funny though about that is that even on YouTube, the content about like movie props doesn't necessarily do good, but maybe it's how it's shot. I mean, let me know your guys' opinion because you guys are viewers. Um, you guys are viewers. So is it how these videos are shot in their thumbnails and their packaging that are not getting you to click? Because you can watch one guy has a helmet video where it doesn't get many views, but then someone like Prop Shop, which I really love watching her videos. Like honestly, that's where I get a lot of my like how to do certain things. I just watch her videos. Like she does really well videos and like they do really well. Um so it really I think just depends. Yeah, or like maybe you're just not into the movie props. Yeah, like that comment there. So it really it's hard sometimes to find something for everyone, and then the YouTube algorithm. I never blame the YouTube algorithm. If my video didn't do good, I think it's just a bad video because I do think that even like maybe not you specifically, but someone not into 3D or movie props if a video is so well done, you can attract an audience that even if they're not into the video props or movie props or Star Wars props, they may still watch it because they like to watch the process of things being built, or maybe the video is just that entertaining. And I haven't gotten there yet. So, but that's what I firmly believe. It's like computers. Nobody really cares about what's under the hood. Just can it do what I need? Yeah, except for a specific group of people where they're really into Linux, they're really into like that framework uh laptop that's coming out now. We got 32 of y'all in here. Nice. First ever live stream. I think I saw there was like 36 at one point. It's cool. A lot of makers are about to pivot their small business to a movie prop business. Hey, look, Galactic Armory is doing pretty good for himself. Working with Microsoft and that's crazy. Hey, from Texas, bro. Curious what you do for day life job besides 3D printing or hobbies, or is that part of your job? Nope. I was talking earlier that I don't put any money from 3D printing into my personal finances. So every single dollar that I make goes back into my channel. So I make a couple $1,000s. Yeah, it's decent money sometimes. Sometimes it's less than $1,000. Sometimes it's a couple $1,000s. I put everything back into the channel. But as far as like my day job, I work for a bank. I won't elaborate too much there because I don't want to say all that stuff. You guys kind of probably get it. But work 40 hours doing that. Sometimes if I'm in the office, I gotta wake up at 4:30 in the morning, don't get home till like 3:30. Then you gotta take care of the kid, make sure that, all of that stuff is good. So usually I get into the garage sometimes I can squeeze in hours here or there before 7 o'clock, but sometimes I can't, 8:30, 7:30. So on the weekends is really when I do a lot of stuff or I stay up later editing, stuff like that. So it's really yeah. Anyway, outside of hobbies, I don't have much room. I am college doing an accounting degree of all things, but I was just saying earlier too that like I might focus on content because I truly believe I can push this somewhere that it still has not yet gone. And look, I always recognize your names. Like I know Fight Like a Brave has been here a really long time. Like a Hero, I know we just started chatting a little bit more recently through comments. Like Ken, I know has been here a long time. Blaze has been here a long time. I recognize a lot of your guys' names. I know Bar J Dad has been here as a member for a little bit. Like I always recommend or Galactic 3D printing. I've also seen you quite a bit. Like, it's awesome. So like uh I hope that, like, even if I get bigger, I don't forget, like, some of y'all. Like, I definitely like responding to a ton of comments. My wife told me one time, "You need to stop responding to so many comments because some people are not as nice." Some people just hate that I like Bamboo Lab, and they let me know. Like, it's crazy. But yeah, favorite Star Wars movie. Okay, so underrated Star Wars movie. Let me tell you guys this. Underrated Star Wars movie is A New Hope. I do think A New Hope is the most rewatchable Star Wars movie. If you're an Empire Strikes Back stan, you may not agree with me, but yes, A New Hope might be my favorite Star Wars movie. Definitely not any new stuff. Mm, Rogue One definitely shot up with Andor being so great. Movie prop on paper, of course. Just not into movie props. Yeah, I mean, that was what we were talking about. Videos earlier. Maybe start to finish project videos. Yeah, and that's where like my Lego Star Wars video didn't do that great, but then I looked at and watched it back and I felt like there was tons of stuff I could do better. Um like I forgot what the channel name is. Let me look. Definitely let's see. I got to go grab something real quick. Oh wait, maybe. Okay. Let me see if I can find his channel. There's a really good channel. He just builds stuff. What was I doing? Okay. I like to make stuff. So if you guys have watched his videos, he does it from start to finish. And I started watching his and I really like his channel. Um, but he gets about, 100,000 views a video. That's just like whatever he makes. He's made Star Wars stuff. He's made, a little bit of everything. And I think it just depends on what you wanna do. Not in the movie start to finish videos. But yeah, like, I see your other question, I'll answer in a second. I found your channel, one of the news things popped up, but I stayed because of how you presented the info. It's very casual, it's, like, easy to learn. Yeah, and, that's where I say, like, dude, I could care less about, like, certain technical issues and certain things. It's just like, I just think for the casual person, they just wanna know what new products are coming out. I tried to do this where I could I thought about even translating this to, like, what new phones are coming out, what new things, because every single tech news channel even and all this stuff is just so, like, "Oh, it's got 12 gigabytes of RAM," which is very basic. I'm not saying the gigabytes of RAM, but then they'll go into it like, and it's 4,000 megahertz speed. You need this, and it's all tech specky, and like, I don't care. I just want to know if it works, if it's good. Like, maybe I'll look at a chart and look at the benchmarks and how good it is, and that's what I'll buy. Just like the M5 Pro. I have a MacBook M5 Pro. I looked at some of the benchmarks. Was this good for editing? Can I edit in 4K without lagging? Because my old PC could. Yes. Okay. I bought an M5 Pro. Eventually, when all this RAM stuff levels out, then boom, we'll buy or build my own PC again. Scream Team is easy. Yeah. I also remember uh your green profile pic. That's how I remember you as well. Do I focus on the videos about how well they do, or do I just keep making what I like? Both. So I will sit down and say, hey, look, dude, did I really enjoy this video? Or okay, let me rephrase that. I sit down and say, will I enjoy making this video? And will it do well? So before I was really just saying, will this video do well? I really thought the Battle Droid video would do better. But then when I look at and watch it back, I just feel like I packaged it incorrectly. If my click through rate wasn't high enough, I am a perfectionist. I really am just trying to be better at things and just really hone the craft of YouTube. It's definitely a different animal. My news videos, for example, at this point, so many of you guys have watched them. I put up a news video with a generic green thumbnail that says 3D printing news. It has a higher click through rate than like my battle droid showing a massive battle droid. And that's because some of you guys just aren't into Star Wars, which I 100% understand that. You guys are here just for the 3D printing news or maybe some of the 3D printing videos and yeah. Oh yeah. Oh dude, trust me. I will always enjoy uh making videos no matter what. Like I won't make videos that I don't enjoy. Like even the 3D printing news, I like making it, but I don't necessarily like them when they're as negative as like the Bontech video earlier. But I do think to an extent those videos are needed because you have to let people know. Like you got to show you. I mean, I think the Bontech in this Prusa drama has shown a lot of biases. Because a lot of the comments also say if this was Bamboo Lab, we'd have like 50 videos out. Because it's okay, Bamboo Lab does get clicks. That's why people do it as well. Like Prusa, Bontech, unfortunately, they're kind of like they're not as popular anymore. They don't get as many clicks. Yeah, I don't need to see a slow unboxing and telling me how the packaging is. See, that's why I've cut out packaging and unboxing. Some people wish it was in there, but I have cut out packaging and unboxing of every single review, every single product I do. You will never see unboxing anymore. I might call out certain things like the Snapmaker review I did. I like that they did a booklet and someone got mad and like basically cussed me out in a comment that I put that I liked a booklet or the user manual saying this is like 2026. No one reads books anymore. Why did you put this in? It's like, dude, I can't win. like, oh yeah, but I used to take YouTube comments a little bit more to heart, but I really don't care anymore. I just mute people and move on. Um, if it's slightly even like rude or anything, I just don't got time to deal with that. There's way too much negativity nowadays in the world. And I do think negativity and calling a company out on their bad lack of customer service are two totally different things. Yeah, you definitely can't I wouldn't say you can't please anyone, but you can't please everyone, right? Like especially if you do content and like just in your daily, you know, whatever. Yes, he can, and that's cool. So like he's saying, for you guys listening, that he doesn't like Star Wars content, so he's not gonna watch them no matter what, but he likes the news and he likes learning something new. It's totally cool. Um And I understand that. News is the thing that's going to keep my channel churning, get a lot of new viewers. But I also like doing the 3D print videos, which some of those 3D print videos do quite well. For example, like the practical 3D prints was still getting like 75 views an hour, like a couple days later. So it's like that long one where, like, okay, over the course of 30 days, it might have 20. Oops. Over the course of 30 days, it might have 20,000 views. So that's what makes those a little bit different is that my 3D printing news will get like maybe 10,000 or there's like a huge range, like 5,000 to 20,000 in like 4 days, 5 days, but then it just stops. It just dies. It falls off a cliff because there's no staying power. And so that I need to start making some more evergreen content. if I want to do it more seriously because I haven't found anybody that really wants to sponsor the news, which is kind of crazy, but maybe it's my subscriber count in comparison to some of the bigger players in the niche. We'll see. Yeah, mental break. So um that was the thing. So I was doing the news every single Friday, and it was really just putting a strain on like, okay, if I don't have news, is it okay to skip this week? And I knew it was, but people were expecting it every single Friday at 6 a.m. And so it was really difficult to sit down every Thursday and sometimes force a video. And I think people started to see that and some of the viewership went down. So when I actually started, okay, I have enough now for a 3D printing news episode. Let's put out the video. And I'll upload them sometimes randomly at like 6 or 7 o'clock at night, 9 o'clock at night on the East Coast sometimes. And they do better than what like they were doing on Friday sometimes. Like the last few have gotten like over the course of the 4 days that they usually do decent, have gotten like 17,000, 15,000 views, which for me is pretty good. You know, if you're looking at a channel with 16,000 subscribers or a little over 16,000 subscribers and you're getting 16,000 views, I mean, obviously it's not everyone watching that video, but you can translate it that way in a way, which I love. I'm addicted to YouTube, guys. I'm addicted to getting you YouTube views and like like I just don't know. I love YouTube and like the news videos again will keep the channel churning, we'll keep getting consistent views, drawing new viewership. And if people like the other videos, they like the other videos. I'm not That's my way to expand the audience even further. So news will probably stay around for a really long time, but I'll be honest, I'm not going to do news forever. And maybe someone will come up and they'll do it. Yeah, views are like crack. Yeah, they are. When you see a video starting to go crazy, like I saw one time I saw one of my videos getting 4,000 views an hour. I was like, "Oh my gosh, honey, we made it." Well, obviously it died because it was a news video, but I think it was a news video. Oh, yeah. I've been playing with HueForge, which lets you turn images into prints. Yep, I do have a membership, or I bought the HueForge license or whatever it is. I just haven't played around with it too much. Sometimes I'll buy stuff just to support the community and then just never use it. I don't know what it is. News cycles. Hit the news as it cycles. Don't focus on steady report when no news actually happens that week. Yeah, that's why I do think like let me look at some of my stuff. Qforge is quite difficult to get like right when it comes to the like the colors, especially if you're only working with 4 colors. Like you're doing a Snapmaker thing and it's only 4 colors. Yeah, it's kind of rough. Yeah, so news video, 18K for the last one today. We're at over 4,000 views, even though it doesn't show yet. 8,300 views, 13K. Wait, that's not a news video. 17K. Yeah, news videos just do good. That's the thing, is the news videos are my best performing videos. That just means I haven't figured it out for the other videos yet. That's the way I view it. One of the best That's one of the best advices I've gotten on YouTube is like if every single video try to do something better. And like I was talking about this earlier, right? Like where, you know, where every single month I do think like if you look at some of my first videos, they were really bad. So I like my Centauri Carbon review video. It was like in the garage, like cracked the garage for some light, and it was recorded on my phone on a tripod. Like, yeah. What else? We got 31 people in here. What's up, everybody? Hope you're having a good Friday night working on those projects or whatever you do on Friday night. Maybe you're playing League of Legends. I used to play a lot of League of Legends. I guess that to answer some of my other hobbies. But don't got time for it anymore. Several years as a photographer and Photoshop user, lots of stuff you can do with QForge. Okay, so did you do any videography? Because that's been one of my hardest things to learn. Like lighting. Like, I got this light here, it's decent. It's just a cheap light, but, like, in my garage setting up, I actually spend some money on lights now. But you can make a phone camera look like an expensive camera. Like, the camera I'm using is really expensive. Like, I would never recommend someone buy a camera for their first thing they buy for YouTube. I am the epitome of buy what use your smartphone. I used my smartphone, got like 1,000 subs, starting getting paid. I did not buy a camera until I had 2,000 subs, and I made like my first or my third month monetized on YouTube. I made like $600, and then I started investing in a camera. Spent like $1,500 or something like that on credit, by the way. So, uh, yeah, shots, only shots. I mean, you always got my business email and my YouTube. Well, what's up? We got 33 people in here and we only see like a hero fight like a brave. Come on. What are you guys doing this weekend? Anyone got plans? I don't really got plans. Work on a video. Work on a printer review video. That's what my plans are this weekend, guys. Printer review video. Maybe use the laser in my garage finally. Do you guys have lasers? Are you into lasers? One thing I really want right now is first off, I want a CO2 laser, but outside of a CO2 laser, I think the mobile lasers can do it, but I want to make real like coins, like imperial credits out of metal. I just don't really know how I would do that. Maybe I could just do them in brass, use one of those MOPA lasers and then coat them, but 9mm belt swap on the SV08. Sounds like a terrible time. I'm just kidding, but I hate I hate working on the printer belts and stuff. Replacing the motor in the H2S when I had that go bad, which by the way, Bamboo Lab did send me 2 free motors that time. That's the only time they ever contact me is when I have issues with the printers that I already bought. Everyone accuses me of being a Bamboo Lab shill, and I've never been paid from them. I wish. Flash photo, love it. Macro photo. Yeah, I can't really say I got into photography. I love the videography aspect. Like, if you guys have seen, you should look up Life of Riza. I wish I could make that type of style video. Life of Riza, Casey Neistat. I wish I could translate those type of vlogs to the maker world. I think that'd be awesome. And maybe one day I will. I've done like one vlog and I need to do more and really set them up. Got 2 3D printers working in the background. We enjoy the live feed, making some Halloween gifts. I need to hit up Fulv because we want to do the Halloween mansion, I believe, this year for one of the Halloween 3D prints videos. And we'll do the mansion. I don't want to necessarily do it for its own video, but I've worked with Fulv before. He feels like he seems like a really nice guy. Hook up my lasers. The exhaust is not quite ready. UV and fiber. What are you making though? The Galvo lasers are Galvo lasers expensive? Let me look this up. Are they going to be expensive? Probably. Probably don't even want to look it up because then I get stuck. Are you guys the type to you look something up and then you just want to buy it, right? You can't get it out of your mind and then you buy it and then you never use it. Galvo laser. Actually, it doesn't seem like. Okay, Galvo lasers are not necessarily, well, I don't know. High speed engraving. Or is Galvo just like a fiber laser? I don't know. I definitely need to do a little bit more. Laser, Galvo laser. I have some lasers, 100-watt CO2, 60-watt MOPA, 60-watt diode. Okay, so 100-watt CO2, I assume that's probably your go-to for most stuff, or is it the diode? The MOPA seems like very selective on what you would use it for. I just got reached out to by a company that does have a MOPA, and I'm gonna see if we can work something out to do projects. Like I want to do more projects on the channel. Like I research companies, see if they've done bad things, make sure everything's aware. But like when you do sponsor content, I do need to start doing some sponsor content, get some income. So hopefully the wife can stay home. But of course, I don't want to shill out for stuff. It'll just be here and there. I don't want to make every video sponsor content. Maybe like every other video eventually, but, I would rather do ad reads than straight sponsor content, but what can you do? Can't wait for a P series bamboo tool changer. That will probably be a really long way from now. I still think we get a smaller it will be an X series, but it won't be a tool changer. I guess we just got the X2D. I don't know if we'll get the Vortec or not. I'm iffy on that because they lowered the prices of the H1, the H series. Goals to get more 3D printers, lasers, a UV printer, etc. Dude, I also want a UV printer. I want to try it. I have not ever made a video with a different YouTube creator. I've only even really had conversations with like 3, and they're not even really conversations. They're just like comments back and forth. But it's fine. I'm not really looking for anyone else's approval. Very expensive. Yeah, lots of stuff is expensive. Galvo lasers, and all lasers just are really expensive unless you get the cheap ones. But then they're like not safe. You don't want to laser your eye out. The first thing I bought was the laser glasses, and I told my wife like if she's going to use it at all for like some project she wants to do, that she has to wear the glasses. Like so. Galvo means mirror. Oh yeah, okay. I'll have to look into it more. So I just did a quick Google search, didn't really find much. Where did I lose? Sometimes this chat goes. I can see how streamers have a hard time following the chat. Like I've just been sitting here talking for about an hour and 15 minutes now. Honestly, it's kind of enjoyable. Maybe we should do this. Should I live stream more often, guys? Huh? All right. So what else we got here? My goals. Yep, I read that. Very expensive. Yep, I read that. Also used to do a lot of photography. I still have 2 decent DSLRs, one dedicated for video, but I'm nothing special at video. Hey, as you guys can tell, I am nothing special at video. Okay, so I had a Sony A6700. I just sold that to my parents because I upgraded to full frame the Sony A7 V or V. And so far I'm really enjoying it. It's definitely heavier, so I didn't necessarily want to do vlogs, and that's why I now have the Luna Ultra for at least B-roll and stuff. So hopefully I get some better B-roll. There's a few shots of like in my latest 3D printer video that were done with the Luna Ultra. From one mic to another mic, 2 mics don't make a wrong. It just makes awesome mic mix. Enjoy your content, bro. Hey, man, I appreciate it. Anytime someone enjoys my content and they watch it, that's more than enough. Like, for real. I also have plasticity to design with. I'm tired of downloading other models. I really do it anymore. My whole purpose was to learn to design myself. Hey, welcome to the club. I started 3D modeling in Tinkercad. I did it because originally I was in school for electrical engineering and I was using Tinkercad for a project and trash. I am terrible at 3D modeling. I'm just not artistic. That's why I paid someone to model something for me. Yeah. MOBA is for the metal engraving, CO2 for a lot of acrylic diode. Yeah, I do diodes for like cutting too, like for like wood cutting. More so of that, just not cutting acrylic and stuff that it goes through. So I guess they all have their use cases. That's why I kind of want to add one of each to the shop, but then you run out of room. Do you think Creality will release the K3 Cleatech this coming next month? I think they will release it in September. Bring on any and all Star Wars. See, everyone likes something different. Some people didn't. They're like, hey, look, we don't watch Star Wars, but that's fine. I'll still do Star Wars content, mix it in here or there with everything else for sure. I also have my Star Wars channel, the Calm Cantina, where I think maybe eventually I'll move all Star Wars builds to that, so that way it's everyone who enjoys Star Wars. But I realized that I don't have a lot of time. I'm trying to do more stuff for it that is just a sit down talk video. Uh, but I need to figure out like how to get better click through rates, sit down and how to do those thumbnails and how to structure those videos easier so I can still do both channels. D6760 and 700 for Sony RX for the video, sold to Panasonic 3. Yeah, I'm a Sony camera guy. What games are you playing? iRacing. Okay. I've done one of those virtual car simulators. It's crazy. It like hurts your wrist if you hold onto the steering wheel and you crash. Hello, I just found your live stream and plan on getting a resin printer for the first time. Any suggestions? Most I really liked I used the Photon P1. I really liked it. Um Honestly, most resin printers are the same. I think most of the stuff you can other than like Elegoo's weird tilting vat thing that I saw, I never used it, but I saw some things where like one of my buddies used it and it was like splashing. So that one's a little weird, but I think like most resin printers, if you just get a newer one, are pretty much the same. So you can't really go wrong. So if you watch a few reviews, like Faux Hammer does, FAUX Hammer does a lot of reviews on resin printers. He's probably more of your go-to. If you want something that's a little more like buy it, forget it, like Hey Gears, they just locked down their resin on some of their printers, but I think they just opened it up again to use any resin to like do that. So could be a decent option. I don't park in the garage. The double car is mainly for my wood shop. The single car is in process of getting okay. So you have a 3-car garage, right? The doubles car side is for my wood shop. The single car. Yeah. I have a 2-car garage and I still park outside and I've taken up the whole garage. But we store things out there. I have 2 garage racks, all my printers, the lasers. I do have woodworking stuff as well. That's why I need to move. But we're not planning to move for a while. But definitely before my kid starts going to school. She's only 1, so that's our plan. I want to move up north. I'm in the Phoenix area, right? So I would rather move up north, like Prescott. How do you guys say that? Like, whatever. And get some more land, but it's expensive. I need YouTube to take off, guys. Come on, watch more videos. Oh gosh, I have tons on Steam. Yeah, there's so many games I would like to play, but I don't have time. I just don't game. You should check out the Battleorian. Is it like Batman Mandalorian? It's the first helmet you designed. Nice. I wish like I said, uh I wish I had more time. And I wish I could design stuff. But Shaper 3D did reach out to me and they want to see if I can use their software and stuff. Maybe I'll try it out on the iPad. Every sim racer should get a 3D printer. So much stuff to print. So maybe I should start 3D printing stuff for my family because that's where I use the sim racer. I'm looking forward to the Saturn. Looking towards the Saturn 3 Ultra. I would just check if it doesn't have that tilting bed. That's the weird design I saw, but Elegoo or Anycubic should they both make decent resin machines, pretty nice budget resin machines, as far as like I've been using. A wall in between and mini splits on both sides, courtesy of a great bonus just before you retire. My boss understood I'd prefer a bigger bonus and over a bigger raise. Hey, look, the mini split in my garage has been my best investment ever. Nibbling at R2D2, dude, I really want to do an R2D2. Like, really want to do an R2D2. Like, there's just no time. I'm still working on a Super Battle Droid, but there's just no time, man. Texas, I don't know if my wife will move to Texas. Our family's kind of here, so I would debate it, honestly. Cheap beef or easier to get beef. I've heard HEB is great. You also converted an entire 2-car. Yeah, man. Like I have blankets on my garage for record. I think that's part of you guys don't have like a recording studio basically or like a studio setup. So it's a little bit easier, I think. Say you love Shaper 3D, been using it for years. Oh, that's cool. Maybe I will actually be able to design something. I do have something in mind that's really basic. I should be able to do it. Even in Tinkercad, I could probably do it. So we'll see. Oh, no. Oh, I read that wrong. RDR2, Red Dead Redemption 2. Okay, so funny enough, I bought Red Dead Redemption 2, played it for like 20 minutes and never put it back in just because I get so busy. I do agree with that statement about he said come to Texas is like saying come to some generic place in the South, very diverse. Texas is huge. There's so many different areas. I have a buddy that lives in Austin and uh like just Austin from different areas is just so different. I feel like Okay. Yeah, Batman Mando mashup. Do you think Creality or any other manufacturers will make swappable heads for other parts like a laser cutter or pen holder? No. Um, well, Snapmaker already did. If you think about the CNC machine. But like the CNC machine, it's just gonna have so many things that can get into into different spaces, and that's the same thing. The problem with the laser is like there's so much soot and stuff that could get into other areas that I don't think it's ideal. I think that so something like less than 40 hours or something of using the laser, it's recommended to have a complete clean down or something. And so it's not necessarily I think it's better to just have 2 separate machines. And with the price of the laser stuff from Bamboo Lab, like their diode laser, you can probably get I keep touching the mic. You could probably get uh you could probably get 2 separate machines for the same price, and you could probably get a more powerful diode based on what I've seen. And especially with the new X tool, like the M1 or whatever, is that a laser? I believe that was a laser as well. Pretty good budget laser, even from X tool. I wish there was more 3D printing trade shows. Would love to go see hardware. I feel like there's quite a bit, but I haven't gone to any. Also, I've said this earlier, but I'm a hermit. Like I just don't like going to places. I did get invited to an event in San Francisco this week or next week. And I was like, I really couldn't feasibly go, but they would pay for everything. But I just don't like going places either. I would rather talk to you guys online. You make decor lamps. Have you tried the Creality Falcon? No, I just got into lasers. I have a laser pecker. I I have a laser pecker. That's it. That's the statement. Anyway, no, they have the laser pecker LX2. What I did was, so I got hit up by 2 laser companies, and they both had like a I don't want to like this was when I was how do I frame this? I don't want to say they wanted complete control because looking back at it, I probably should have accepted the offers, but they were definitely going to be more ads, right? And I want to like have complete control of my videos. And like, I think I've worded now contract. I know how to word contracts now where like maybe they get 2 revisions and they pick an idea. I do that idea where I still have pretty much creative control, but then they just need to approve it to go live. But these companies definitely were going to run ads on that video, meaning like they promote it on YouTube. And usually that results in dead subscribers, which I really don't like that. I would rather my videos get more uh organic views. And that's what I really try to shoot for. Retention, click-through rate, I try to do all that. So what I did was I just reached out to like 6 laser companies that were all at the top. And LaserPecker had just come out with the LX2 and they sent that to me, have not hit me up for like 2 months. And they're just like, make whatever you want with it. So I really appreciated that. They sent me the air purifier. So content should be coming with that. I finally got around to opening it and we should be using it this weekend. Also shooting a review video this weekend. And I'm really hoping that uh yeah, I'm really hoping that that ends up good. Sorry, I was watching my kid on our little camera here. I was hoping she did not wake up and she did not, so I do not have to leave. Okay. But anyway, yeah, I hit up like 6 laser companies. I said, "Let me do whatever I want, please. Other companies are controlling me. I want to do this." And they let me. So, props to them. Uh Don't understand the mix of laser and 3D printing in the same platform. No. Oh, wait. I never answered. I have not tried a Creality Falcon because Creality. So maybe look at what scares the others. Bamboo said they won't make a standalone laser because of X tool. So maybe look at what scares the others. It's surprising that Bamboo Lab is scared of Xtool, but also, like, what's the point in competing with them? But I wonder if Bamboo Lab is making a UV printer. Like, what is Bamboo Labs what is Bamboo Labs, um, next thing? Is it the tool changer or is it a different market? I'd I'd like Shaper, but I have so many subscriptions and Shaper is kind of pricey for my casual use. I could see that. I think it's like what, $25 a month or something if you pay for it yearly. Most marketing for the trade shows is crap. You don't hear about them till opening day. You have to already know they exist and watch out for them. I agree. Because most of the time I don't hear about them till the week of, and I'm a content creator. Yeah. Even though I feel like I don't know what it is. I feel like maybe I'm just so out of the loop when it comes to man, I keep touching the mic. When it comes to content creating, I feel like I'm so out of the loop sometimes about like the stuff going on outside of YouTube. But I follow every single company for all that stuff. I just feel like I learn about the stuff so late. But and I'm glued to my phone. I don't know. It makes no sense. True, the new X tool looks amazing. Scared to get it though. I started buying my first 3D printer last month. Now I have 4 printers. That's how it happens, boy. 285X, K2 Pro, and K1 Max. Yep. That's how it happens. You get one, you find a whole bunch, and yeah, you just want more. It's like, so I had the A1, and then I was like, I need another printer for productivity purposes. Like I can 100% boost my output. And so I got the Centauri Carbon when it first launched. I was watching like Uncle Jesse's live stream and I bought it through the live stream. That's how I first got started into YouTube again. I had 440 subscribers, I think, before that, from like a previous venture that I was doing. And so um later, I don't know if you say Barge Dad or Barge Dad, but we'll see you later. I know it's late on the East Coast, but West Coast over here. But um I was watching Uncle Jesse's live stream and that's what kind of spawned this channel. I bought the Centauri Carbon. As soon as I got it, I posted a review. That review got like 1.9 thousand views for my first video, full length video, as far as directly related to 3D printing. And yeah, that's that. That's how the channel was born, or 3D printer Mike was born. LOL, the baby cam, missed those days. Not the sleepless nights, though. Yes, agree. Because I was up at 3 o'clock and 3 or 4 in the morning this morning, and then still have to get up at 5:30 for work or 5 o'clock for work. Fun. But hopefully we're getting past these days. Probably not, but with her being one. She used to sleep better as a kid, like as a baby. Used to be more routine. I agree, Bjorn. I do think they're gonna come out with a tool changer or like a I don't know what they call it. But using those induction nozzles. Maybe Bontek can learn something. What else you guys got for me? We've got 29 people at 8:30 at night. It's a Friday night. You guys aren't going out and party? My party is sitting here at my desk. We've been live streaming for an hour and a half. That's crazy. As you get more advanced, you'll try Shaper 3D, but plasticity is fine. For now, pretty fun. Yeah, like uh, there's so much bad advice out there. And this is not directed towards you because I don't know if you're selling stuff or whatever, but there's so much like bad advice when it comes to like people using 3D modeling and stuff. Like, oh, buy these like subscriptions and then you can model stuff and sell it. And like, I'm watching the baby cam again. She keeps rolling around. She better not wake up. Although my wife is almost done. But there's there's so much, like, bad advice when it talks about, like, getting into 3D modeling and selling stuff and all that, like, you don't need all these subscriptions. Like, one simple program, I guess, is where I was going with this, is all you really need, and you can do a lot, and then once you master that stuff, you can move on. Where did I go? Too old to party anymore. Hey, man, I'm 30 years old, and I feel like I'm too old to party. A lot of you guys saying that. My party days are long gone, bro. Gen X. I do know that according to my analytics, a lot of you guys are older. 9:30 here. I'm almost 71. Don't party much anymore. I don't even remember the last time I had a drink. Brother, I'm 42 in a few weeks. This is my partying. Yep. It's mine at 30. Started DJing when I was 8. I got like this nose hair or something. TMI. It's like itching. Started DJing when I was 8 at teen clubs at 13. Oh, geez. So you're all partied out, is what you're saying. Drop the wife and her friend off at a Backstreet Boys concert. Careful. Those guys are living large. Just kidding. I mean, you know. The K3 features them to school. My next one's solo. Double my age and you're closer to me. I know. I'm young. I get it. Like, yeah. I'm lucky to be 30. What can I say? It flies by. Mine are 4 and 5 years old. They love printers too. They make more 3D print requests than anyone. Lots of helmets around the house. Hey, I look, I'm looking forward to my daughter. Like, I don't want her to get older, right? Because I do know it flies by. Even just from like her being born to now, it's just flown by. It's crazy. But like, of course, like all that stuff, I think just cherish it, obviously. Which I do hope, I guess where I was going with that, I do hope it's like, you take her to, that you hope, I think you hope that they're your best friend, right? And so like you go to conventions and stuff with them. You always have a buddy to go with, even when your wife or your significant other doesn't want to go with you. Yes, sir. My I have to say it. I'll leave it at that. Where in Mate are you located? What do you mean? Are you asking where I'm located? Arizona, Phoenix area, suburbs? Our parties from the 90s are still on YouTube. Yep. Are you talking about the Limp Biscuit raves? No, I'm just kidding. Have as many as you can. If you're talking about kids, we are planning on having another, but I think we might stop at 2. Who knows when? But yeah. All right. So let's see here. What do we got? Choo, 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 choo. We got 29 people still here for today. Choo, 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 choo. Okay, so Spider-Man Brand New Day, I do want to go see it. We'll probably drop the kid off at the grandparents. We did go see The Odyssey last weekend, and I think it blew my eardrums out. I don't know if I can hear anymore. Now I'm gonna be hearing like an old man. We went to an AMC premiere theater, and man, that thing was loud. Like, there is at Arizona Mills, like it's a mall near us. If you guys are not familiar, yeah, it's long. It's almost 3 hours long. It's like 2 hours and 56 minutes or something is the runtime. But there's a mall here that actually has the IMAX 70 millimeter, but literally every time I looked at it, every single seat was taken. Like even the solo seats, you couldn't even sit in front. You could occasionally. There was a 7:45 a.m. on a Sunday showing, sold out completely, not even a solo seat. And so me and the wife couldn't go see it in the 70 mil, which is like one of those old theaters. Well, okay, wait. Spider-Man is not the 2 hours and 56 minutes, but I think it's like 2 hours and 40 minutes, right? But yeah, Spider-Man is a long movie as well, I've heard. But the Odyssey was like 2 hours and 56 minutes. And I don't know why everyone was hating on it. I really enjoyed it. But I did hear that Spider-Man is also pretty good. I mean, you just said it, but I did hear that Spider-Man is pretty good. And some people were thoroughly surprised. And some people thought it was average. So I think if you enjoy Marvel movies, it seems like you're going to have a good time with that movie based on what I've seen. All right, let's see here. What else do we got to talk about tonight, guys? You guys want my thoughts on anything? It's been really good chatting with you guys. Honestly, I feel like this is how we build relationships. You know? What did I do for work? I mean, I still do the same thing that I did. I work for a bank. I don't really want to dive into it too much. Mortgage related stuff. Used to work at Walmart like 8 years ago, which is funny. But that's how I think I learned a lot of my more people skills. I do so like when I first started working at Walmart, I was not very like people, like I didn't really know how to talk to people. I think it got me out of my shell a little bit more. And then obviously now YouTube. I think if you look at my videos, I wasn't necessarily comfortable talking on camera. Now I'm okay, but even like when I first started this live stream, it was a little weird, but now it's good. I haven't seen filaments at Walmart yet. I have seen all the photos of them at Target. Yeah, we can talk about 3D printing on a 3D printing channel. You know what? I've talked about a lot of other stuff than 3D printing on this live stream. It's actually been, like I said, it's been quite enjoyable just to sit down and talk with you guys because I feel like it's not as personable for like me necessarily, but for you guys. How far along in my accounting degree? I have like 30 credits left. We'll see if I finish. Like, oh man. But yeah, obviously you don't want to bank on other stuff, but I'm not making bad money. So it okay. Maybe there's like I don't know. Like okay, okay, sorry, I was reading with the chat. So it's like if I got an accounting degree, being realistic, my starting pay if I switched my career at this point would probably be lower and you're starting over. Now I'm only 30, so it's not really that bad. However, I have extremely good benefits and extremely good PTO at my place of work. And I'm also able, because my job is pretty flexible, to take days off, like when I need to work on a YouTube video or do certain things if I end up traveling and like it's extremely, I'm treated well, things like that. So that's where it's like, but at any time you can also be laid off. So you never know. It's definitely a life discussion. And a lot of people are going through that right now. Yeah, there's so many different types of people in 3D printing nowadays. It's crazy. Like even just like the regular mom, dad, or mom, even single parents, regular parents, like it's crazy how many different people are into 3D printing. Do 3D printing. I just started a business. Any tips how to do to better and get more attractions online? More so Instagram and YouTube. From an outsider looking in, because I don't do the business stuff, but I have done like so. For example, I used to buy and sell a lot of toys. I'm extremely into collecting. Action figures was my go-to. I used to do a lot of the Funko Pops. Advertising is one of the hardest things that people do not realize it's a skill. And so what do I mean by that? What I mean by that is like you can have a terrible product, but if you're good at advertising, you can sell it. That's one thing that is 100% overrated, like or underrated is your advertising skills. And packaging, making sure that your setups are good, making sure it looks good, aesthetically pleasing, and all of that is very important in a business. You need to make sure it's priced well, but don't price it too cheap because you don't want to be on Etsy and it's a race to the bottom. Okay. So you have to get a little bit more creative. So, for example, you can't necessarily use this idea in this space, but for example, Um, I was into, the Funko Pops, or I was selling the Funko Pops, flipping the Funko Pops, doing those mystery boxes and stuff, and I pride myself on doing cheap ones so everyone could get into it. Kind of the same thing I'm doing with my channel now. I like to bring 3D printing to the masses and, like, make it more understandable for everybody. Don't get too technical and stuff. And so I hit up just a few random YouTubers, I sent them a few pops, and that's I was, like, one of the first people in that space to advertise on YouTube. And so, for example, if you're a 3D printing business and you're solving something specific, you could maybe go on YouTube and message some people in that niche and say, "Hey, look, is this something that would entice you?" So maybe it's a coffee setup thing, or maybe it's like a fix for, I don't know, like a toolbox. So you hit up some tool guys. Like Den of Tools also has some, I guess he's not 3D Print Rancher was making some good business content. He's more of a business aspect version of this stuff. So look for something specifically, solve people's needs, and then go out and try to maybe do that. It really depends what you're selling. As far as like a 3D printing business, I really don't like the new culture that and maybe some of you do it, and if you're successful doing it, cool. Because if you're a good marketer, like I said, you can sell everything. But I really don't like this new culture of like buy my Patreon and you can make money, because that's just not true. It's like the QB, the STL Flicks and stuff like that, where it's cool if you're going to buy and 3D print the stuff for yourself, but I really don't think you should depend your business on that. I am way behind. Okay, so I think it's healthy to have another skill or work other than 3D printing. 100%. You can use any skill in 3D printing, even accounting. Printing with an X2D, I think you mean, and it's lifting. I'm not sure what you mean. Oh, printing silk with an X2D and it's lifting off. Clean your build plate with some Dawn dish soap or dish soap and a rag, and then wipe it clean, or spray it with some Windex. You can try both of those. I want to do architecture. Oh, if I could start over. Yeah, I 100%. Like, dude, I don't know. I love content though. If I didn't start going to school, I would have never found content. So hindsight's 2020. Printing silk. My friend owns Misfit Toys here in Houston, Texas. Is that like a toy shop? They buy and sell toys and stuff. Chef for over 20 years. 3D printing is my unwinding after a very crazy day. Yeah. See, everyone's in the 3D printing. Also, what are you chef for? You making steaks? You making pizza? What are you making? It's okay to be on Etsy if you're making original designs. I agree with that. I'm told to listen to the algorithm, but it's so hard. Like, people do the same content I do, and people get hundreds of thousands of views, and it's crazy. You earned a sub as well. Okay, Jet Layer, are you into 3D printing content? Is that what you do? I'm trying to. Let's see. I'll go to your channel. Are you in a different? Are you doing shorts? It looks like you're doing shorts, mainly shorts. Eating like 1,000, 1,000. It looks like you're making an Iron Man helmet. It's not terrible for you have 528 subscribers. It's not terrible. It looks like you just started, right? A couple months ago. That's not, 500 subscribers starting a couple months ago is pretty good. When you're starting from scratch on YouTube, it's extremely difficult. Like, but also I think a lot of people give bad YouTube advice. Um, you really got to learn it. YouTube is marketing as much as anything as well. You got to learn how to package your stuff. If you're only doing shorts, those first 2 seconds that people watch on shorts, I'm not good at shorts. Those first 2 seconds that people watch your short, they're either scrolling, because if you're on TikTok, how do you scroll? If something doesn't look entertaining, you just scroll immediately. So you got to show your payoff almost in the first 2 seconds. I don't even take my own advice though. So all that's crap. It's okay. Oh, yeah. I'm 36 and I work in the accounting department for my company in Florida, business systems administrator. No one in the dude, I still haven't been recognized at work and I work for a pretty big company, so it's awesome. Sushi. You cook sushi. Okay. I was gonna okay, sushi. I am not a raw fish fan. I'm not really a fish fan, but I know it's not sushi, but some crab rolls. I had to eat some crab rolls. I started in architecture, went to the military for the GI benefits, found computers there, ended up a programmer for most of my life. Hey, look, you're retiring. You probably retired at the perfect time before AI takes every programmer's job, or that's what it seems like. I mean, obviously, that's not really true. Good programmers use AI to become better, but yeah. Beverly Hills, California. Is that where you're living? Living large in Beverly Hills, California? Space pants. 3D printing has brought out a lot of ideas for my coworkers as they share their interests and hobbies. Good way to find out things about what other people are about. Hey, you know what? And that is also if you're doing a 3D print business, more business advice. If you're doing a 3D print business and your coworkers have a problem that they're looking to solve, that's potentially like a business idea because the people who are the most successful in 3D printing design a product that's theirs and then they solve a problem and they sell that problem or they sell that problem fix. I wouldn't say 3D printing is a skill. It's the designing process that leads up with the skill, in my opinion. I agree. It's the marketing that's a skill, and also designing and Bamboo Lab again has been a huge a huge proponent of like, hey, look, now you can just do your business. It's like all these new lasers becoming better. If you have a laser, using a laser isn't really the skill. Yes, you can fine tune things and make it a lot cleaner, but there's so many YouTube videos where you can learn how to use it and stuff. But it's the designs that you're selling and what you're putting it on and then marketing it, right? Okay, so where am I at? My wife is the glitter Tumblr world. Her Patreon took off pretty quick. That whole thing is crazy. Yeah, that seems crazy. I've seen a lot of that stuff. It's crazy that I've seen people on TikTok just sitting there making tumblers and people buy them. But marketing, it works. I've been playing around with Alibre. I'm not sure if that or is good. Dude, I don't design nothing. I pay someone to design stuff for me. But I was talking about this earlier. I did get contacted by Shaper 3D and we're gonna try it out. I know it's expensive though. I go to conventions a lot. I learned about the 2-second rule, so I show my product finished or so in the first 2 seconds. That helps a lot. Yeah, see? Now I was looking at your I think you were the one asking for or the YouTube advice. Uh, so before it's too late, I definitely, advise you to start thinking of long form content because that's really where the money's at on YouTube is long form content. And so there's a group of people called Colin and Samir, or they have a YouTube channel where they talk about a lot of stuff. They do give good advice and then like stuff that can help you build a brand. Mr. Beast, obviously, he's so successful at what he does, but you just put Mr. Beast on a thumbnail and it's going to do well. So some of his advice applies and some of it doesn't. But for shorts and stuff, those are so easy to make. They're like 60 seconds or less. But some of my best performing shorts are like 7 seconds. And so I have one where I was just 3D printing a Raptor head on a Cobra 3 Max and it has like 120,000 views now. But it's been getting views like over the course of like months. And so that's my best performing short. And all I was doing was showing me printing like a Raptor head or a Yoda bust. I don't remember. I think it was the Raptor head. And but definitely start making long form content because you want to learn by the time you're monetized, and then you'll be better at it and getting paid more by the time you're monetized. I go to conventions a lot. Oh yeah, we read that. Living the dream, bro. Congrats. Hello, fellow Phoenician. Glad to catch a live stream. Hey, you're catching the very first one. I know I'm delayed in the chat by like a couple minutes, but I like to read all of them. Actually, it's one to mention that I did fix a lot of problems in my kitchen, now selling parts as soap dispensers, Sister Max. Yeah, see, you just gotta learn how to, market them, right? And, also a skill is using Google Ads and Facebook ads to correctly target audiences. That is a skill as well. Just tuned in. What's up, Larson Town? A lady asked me to design an item to put her wired outdoor cam in so it couldn't break or moved. I was like, they can just yank the wire. Yeah, like what? She's adamant. I'm sure there's something you can make to protect the wire. I'm like, yeah, wireless. Yeah, why are we? Yeah. Are you on any other platforms besides YouTube? I am on TikTok and Instagram, 3D printer Mike. I think it's like 3D underscore printer Mike on TikTok or something. Uh yeah. I don't post a ton. Usually that's where I post a lot. YouTube shorts and stuff is usually the same content as TikTok. But sometimes my content takes off on TikTok, but not on YouTube. So algorithms are definitely different. 100%. I'm going to make videos that I'm just in the middle of renovating my garage. My first video is making functional iron too. And you know what the crazy thing is? If you make that video while you're doing your garage stuff, sometimes people will watch that even more. You just got to make it entertaining. That's the thing. Is so one thing that I recently started doing on YouTube is thinking of my title and my thumbnail before I even make the video. And that has actually started to help because click through rate is extremely important. I actually paid someone to do some thumbnails and I was able to make a better one with AI. Like, guys, I use AI. It works. Like, I paid a guy and it looked like he used AI worse than me. Okay. So my 5-second TikTok showing off this ammo case I made got almost 200K views in a week. Might have made 3 sales. Okay. So here's also an opinion here. Sometimes 200,000 views versus 50,000 views, but the video is 30 seconds or 20 seconds explaining the use cases could generate you more sales than just that 7 seconds. Because maybe that 7 seconds they thought, "Oh, this is cool," but they didn't realize they could buy it. Yeah, the cosplay community stuff is really hard to do on YouTube nowadays, I feel like. A lot of stuff has already been made before, but that's not a factor. I've seen some creators say, "I've already made that video, so I'm not gonna make it again." Sometimes it's worth refreshing your content, but it is really hard, I think, in the cosplay space right now to, actually get views, depending on what it is. But, like, I was talking about her I think it's MM Prop Shop. I always forget her YouTube handle name, but she makes really good, like, prop videos, but they're more explanatory versus, like, what's the word for it? Entertainment. My H2C just messed up a 24-hour print with 1 hour remaining. Ugh, it's like a helmet failing at the last second. Putting kids to bed. Have a great rest of your night. Same time next Friday. Ha. Hey, we'll see. I definitely want to do more live streams, so we'll see. But have a good night, man. Support's not working. Dang. Yeah, that always sucks. Oh man, it's 11 p.m. Got to get the game before sleep. Nice to chat. Yeah, later, man. We got 37 people in here though. Where are you guys at? Got questions? I'll answer them. Uh-oh, my kid might be up. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. We'll see. Nope, she just fell asleep right on her pacifier. I'm an open book, so I'll answer questions the best of my ability. Index, great. Hey, I'll be in LA for Star Wars convention. But later, man. You're in Henderson, Minnesota. Nice. Okay, you All right, so we got a couple questions here. The first one I'll answer because this one, it looks like you're still typing. So how to drive traffic from your TikTok to your website. Okay, so this is a really hard one too, because I don't necessarily do it, but I can say based on what I've seen as far as successful people, you have to give people a reason to go to your profile, right? Um, and if you're looking at this from a YouTube content perspective, and you if you're looking at this from a YouTube content perspective, and I view something, what entices me to go to your profile and look at it and say, "Oh, you actually sell these. Let me go to your website." You got to think about it like, what would cause you to click someone's profile and then go to their website? Think of it that way. Like, how would you do it? And sometimes that's not always the right answer because videos that you guys click, I wouldn't necessarily click. So I frame them in different ways. So you got to look at it from multiple different perspectives. Maybe you sit down and record like 3 or 4 different versions of a TikTok and you post them all over the course of a couple days or maybe even on the same day cuz TikTok doesn't punish you for posting like 5 clips in a row. It'll still push them usually. And so record like 5 different pieces of content, see which one works, do it again like a week later, and then maybe just perfect that one. So that is potentially a way to look at that and just try to be better. So there's nothing specifically that works. Every niche is different. Okay, in the Index Founders Group, I haven't opened it yet and signed up for the M1D Kickstarter, but don't know if I'm staying in it. Do you want like my advice? I don't know. I haven't used the M1D or the index. But all the stuff going on with the index, I just don't like how Bondtech has responded personally. Doing a great job watching you. If you guys wonder why I'm looking down, I'm looking at my kid. She just keeps rolling down, rolling over, and I just keep hoping she doesn't wake up. Doing a great job watching you here from Las Vegas, where I'm in the process of opening a 3D print store. So does that mean you watched the 3D print stuff in their content with Keo Prints? But that's always interesting. Yeah, I I just don't know how I would make it work as far as like a 3D print store. I don't design anything and I definitely do want to make stuff, but I've thought about maybe designing like my own sci-fi control panels. That's one thing I'm really into right now and I'm learning how to make them with a laser. So maybe selling like kits for that or I still want to make all my content free. I never want to charge for content. I think that's kind of silly. I've thought about doing a Patreon for a Discord so you have more direct access to me, but I don't know. I'm not like trying to monetize every single thing I do. I like giving stuff for free. And plus I get a little salty when people charge for stuff. Doing a 5-day country fair. We sell 3D printed functional parts for the garage and sporty goods. It's a 3-day in 3 days, finally paid off the booth. The 3D Flexi table said they've done 1,500 a day. So how much did you do a day? So I've also seen so you're saying the 3D so basically the dragons brought in more than what you're saying. I've seen where sometimes people will have dragons, but then they also have their own stuff. So they use the dragons to bring people in. And normally it's kids, and then you get the parents then that see your stuff and maybe they'll buy it. So maybe it would be a good idea to look into potentially having a Patreon for some stuff that would attract kids, but ultimately your customer is their parents. And then maybe you can bundle it like, hey, if you buy one of these garage things, then you get like a discount off your Flexi toy. YouTube is more so content. Instagram is a bit more content and marketing. Yeah, I don't really go on Instagram Reels like at all. Like I'm terrible. I have mine, but like all my followers are from like a different like when I was doing my stuff. I just got my first printer 2 weeks ago and it's still in the box. I'm kind of scared of the humidity in Florida. Don't worry about it. You're definitely overthinking it. Just get it out of the box and start printing. I do think the stuff is widely overblown when it comes to filament being wet, but if you got the AMS, you could dry it beforehand if you wanted to. It's pretty easy to figure that out. Yes, I do. That was kind of my inspiration. I want to do filament parts, sales, service, classes. Seems like a decent idea as long as you can market it. How's everyone doing? I am doing fantastic. How are you doing? Honestly, it's a great day, right? No reason to be down. $125 a day. We do have 2 bins and small flexies for the kids to bring in the parents. It's hard. Okay, so what I would implore you there, Shots, is like, don't look at it as hard and look at it as like a learning opportunity, right? Every single thing is a learning opportunity. Like, if you're going to be in business, it is so hard. Like YouTube, every single video I post is a learning opportunity. If I'm trying to sell something, when I was doing retail sales, it is a learning opportunity. So you should have maybe even walked over to that booth, and it seems like you were friendly with them. I'm not saying copy them, right? Because they'll probably end up at a same booth that you are, but how could you potentially emulate their booth and make it better? Like, it's competition at the end of the day. Um, and I guess not emulate, that's the wrong wording, but how can you improve that with your products as well? Like, just like, because obviously what you did not work, at least for this one, which I've heard also as well that each craft fair or whatever, wherever you have booths, they could be different from each single one. So one could be older men all there, like if it's a gun show or something, and there could be women there too. I'm not, saying that, but it could have a totally different market. So maybe what your products had wasn't good for that market. And so you can just put that in the back of your brain. And if you go to this one again next year or whenever it is, you know, try to put that out. Hey Gears, first hey guys. Hey Gears. Hey guys, first time caller, long time listener, thoughts on the Solval SVO86 Ace. All I know about Solval is that they're known for open source mainly. Well, I guess that's not all I know, but I do know that normally Solval printers, based on feedback I have received, have some issues, but if you're willing to deal with that, they can be pretty good printers as far as open source wise. Guys, we have been live streaming for over 2 hours. This is crazy. And you guys have kept the questions rolling. I feel like there's been some pretty good discussion. I got a little notification here. I don't know what this is. Any budget multicolor printer coming? Well, here's the thing. I don't know of one currently. That is the thing. But even if I did know one, they probably would have had me sign an NDA. Okay, I have an actual question. What camera to use? So I recently upgraded to the Sony A7 IV. Uh, but you definitely don't need that. I was using the Sony A6700, but I used my smartphone camera all the way till 2,000 subscribers. And I have like a pretty lenses are more important when it comes to cameras. And I have the 2.8 2450 right now on this one. That's pretty expensive, like a $1,300 lens on a $3,000 camera, which definitely don't recommend for. I was just making money through the channel, so I decided to buy it. And honestly, I bought it on credit, 0% interest. So A6700 was about, I think it's like 1,500 or 1,600 now. And then you can get some pretty cheap lenses because that's the ASPC camera or whatever it is. Where was I at? Okay, I have an actual question. I just answered that. Yeah, I do feel some of our products don't fit the fair, unfortunately. And that's where it's like you have to choose then if you're going to keep going to that fair and sell different products to try to make it work and maybe slim down your section of the stuff you designed, or maybe design some stuff that fit that fair a little bit better. So you have to make that choice of, is it worth it for you to go and try again, or do you just try a different one, right? Based on the rumor mills you might have heard, where do you think Bamboo Lab could be going next? I haven't heard any specific rumors. Of course, people speculate that they're coming out with the mini version of the Vortec. But I just the more time that goes by, I just don't know if they're actually going to do that and if it's actually feasible. I think they might because they lowered the price of the H2C after the last two sales or after the last sale. I think they might be working on their index clone. Well, it's not a clone, but they'll try to make it work with their Vortec nozzles, their induction heating. They'll be like, "Hey, look, this is how you actually do induction." Just got one and it's good so far. I'm upgrading an Ender 3 on the cheap, so satisfy my tinkering. I'm assuming you're talking about that Soval unit, but I don't know. A1 nozzle sizes? What do you mean? What do you mean by A1 nozzle sizes? Hey, if I have the Nikon D5200, it's fine. Autofocus is garbage, so I just manually trigger the focus whenever I move position. That would annoy the crap out of me. That's one thing that's excellent on the Sony cameras is the autofocus. If you use a Sony lens, and I even used a Tamron and a Sigma, all have really good autofocus. I think the Sigma was better than the Tamron, but just like there's so many lenses for the Sony cameras, but it is more pricey to get into the Sony ecosystem. I've been providing my daughter with tons of mini flexies for her second grade treasure box. Yeah, see, dude, that's the kind of stuff that's cool. Like, I'm thinking about when I finally actually get rid of my A1. I think I'm gonna get donate it to my dad who works for a school district. All right, so we got a few questions here. Dang, y'all bringing the questions all of a sudden. Okay, so what's one thing you would like to see in a 3D printer that no one else has done yet? Well, Soval just did a fully enclosed version. Like theirs is fully enclosed. I would like to see a solution to this PTFE tube problem that makes like these printers massive. Personally, I don't know if it's just an aesthetic thing for me or what, but I would like to see that solved. Good morning from Poland. Hey man, it is the nighttime here. I'm gonna have to get off here soon. But good morning. What's one thing you would like to see in the three? Oh, I just read that. What is your expectation about full color spectrum printing in 1 year? It's interesting. I am wondering if they how far it goes. There's probably going to be better filaments for it, but it's still going to have its limitations, right? Like you're not going to have like the Hager's resin. Hopefully, like even that where people have been debating, like like what what is this good or is this not? Because they haven't showed too many of the models. Um, it'll be interesting, I guess. I'm not quite sure where it'll be in 1 year. If you combined a 6 to 8 tool changer nozzles in just one AMS nozzle, you'd have a great printer. Honestly, yeah, I'm surprised that everyone's been so consistent about not using an AMS, but an AMS with a tool changer seems like it's a good option. What A1 nozzles do you prefer? I always use a point 0.4. I print a bunch of toys for children like Flex, but if you're gonna, I will add, if you're gonna print minis, point 0.2 is the best. I print a bunch of toys for children, like Flexi Things do daily giveaways for children that visit us at work. It becomes an icebreaker for parents to open up and become friendly. That's a cool idea, actually. My son is 5 and saw Blippi do a lemonade stand. He wanted to do one to earn money, but we knew 3D printing would bring in more money. So we did a lemonade and also sold 3D prints. Yeah. So you got to get creative with your marketing, right? 140 bucks, that's pretty good. It's a way to spend time with your kids, honestly. How's the weather in AZ? Let me tell you. Let me look. It is 9:15 and let's see. 9:15 and it's 104 degrees. It's been dark for an hour and 15 minutes and 104 degrees. Fahrenheit, of course, for everyone not in the United States. uh, what's your top 3 ways you'd say you battle the humidity? We just don't have it. Like, I don't. You guys, have you seen my? Oh, my garage. It's terrible. My filament's everywhere. It's just the. What are your thoughts on the Lightmaker L4? Someone asked me about this earlier, and I'm not sure. I need to look into it more. Let's see. Lightmaker L4. I'm gonna just look at it because someone told me it doesn't have belts. I've seen like Facebook ads for it, but I haven't looked into it like a ton. There's so many new 3D printers coming out soon. It's just like hard to keep up, but I also recommend usually to not buy a Kickstarter because you never know. Like, look at Wonder Maker and what happened with Wonder Maker. Okay. I wonder also if they've sometimes I ignore emails that end up being like real companies. I get quite a few emails and I ignore quite a few emails like that are from Gmails, and sometimes it's actually the company before they set up their website. But also I don't like to support this Kickstarter thing because I've been so vocal against it. But also part of me wants to try stuff out. So what do you guys think about that? Do you watch any other 3D printer content creators? M3 is 3D. I've never heard of them, but um I watch MM Prop. I always forget her name. For Star Wars props, I do watch Uncle Jesse. I watch Frank, Frankly Built. Some of 3D printing nerds content, not a lot of it. Um, I'm sure I'm forgetting people. Let me look at my subscriptions. I do watch a lot, quite a bit. I watch, like Kia 3D print stop sometimes. I put it on in the background. YouTube. It just depends. One channel one channel that I really think that I've really been or one channel I've really been enjoying that's not 3D printing related is Boyle Hobby Time now. Faux Hammer, I definitely watch his stuff. Galactic Armory, of course. Yeah, just looking through a lot of these. Those are just some of them. I do like Scott Hugh John. Is that how you say it, Chance? I like his channel, but he hasn't posted recently. It really caught my eye, but Kickstarter from new company always makes me uncomfortable. 100%. Do you think the Elegoo Orange Storm Giga with the co-print add-on upgrade? I just hear Elegoo Orange Storm Giga, and I know that thing has some interesting feedback. Like a couple of years ago, right? Like not very many people give it swell reviews, but I don't know. I would never buy something that big just because I don't have the room for it. Yeah, and Larson Town. That's like why I always say proceed with caution. And the thing is, like the Snapmaker Kickstarter worked out great, 100%. And so that's why there can be good things, but Snapmaker was also a company that was already in the space. I say you should do the things and accomplish stuff. That's what I always do, and things always work out. Hey, look, just say you're going to do it and do it, right? That's what it's like hard sometimes though to actually follow through. Not in like what you tell people you're going to do, but um sometimes you just want to sit down and have a beer. Looking for a first-time printer for a 13-year-old. I would like multicolor capability. Question is multi-tool or not? Wait, what? Question is multi-tool or not? If you want multi-tool, your best option is look, okay. You can say FlashForge Creator 5, you can say SnapMaker U1. Personally, I'd go with the U1. I just like the open ecosystem. They have more spare parts availability on their website and things like that. If something goes wrong, both companies have sent me a printer. Like FlashForge has sent me multiple printers. I'm supposed to work with SnapMaker next month. So, uh, yeah, that's my opinion. But outside of that, Bambi Lab. I just recommend Bambi Lab for everybody. But I get like why. Yeah, and I think Snapmakers had a longer time to work out the kinks. Not that I had any kinks with the Creator 5. Um, but I like the people behind the U1 as well. They seem like cool people. Next one I'm looking into is the Ivamec MX. I know you and a lot of other people because if it ends up being even halfway decent, people have told me that they might just buy it for parts. So there is that. Yeah, that's the thing. It's like most new people don't care about open source, so Bamboo Lab is the way to go. But if you do, you do. Like everyone has their own preferences. This is the analogy I got early on from a comment, and I wish I screenshotted it so I could literally frame it on my wall. I should go searching through my comments. Maybe like because YouTube Studio has this like AI analysis now that you can search for comments. But they told me Uh, 3D printers are like cars. Everyone has their own preferences. It was that simple, you know? Like some people like Mazda, some people like Toyota, some people like American made. Personally, I do drive a Mazda because I want that transmission made in Japan. So, yeah, buy what you like. You have the U1. Just want to make sure you have all the info to give the advice to the 13-year-old. There's a lot of videos out there, so you could probably have look up some YouTube videos also and give them some links. U1 is great. I've had the 85X. I like it. My issue I had an issue with the U1 and customer service was great. The 85X was a very good. I do think the 85X was a very good printer, but yeah, there's a ton of purge. Like, and you couldn't really change it. And I do think it's weird that FlashForge goes only down to a 0.25 nozzle, not a point 0.2 like everybody else. The smallest nozzle you could get was a 0.25, which was very interesting. But we're probably gonna wrap this up here soon, guys. We'll probably stay till 9:30, so another 5 minutes ish, and then we'll probably hop off. I've been live streaming for almost 2.5 hours. That's crazy for a very first live stream. But there's been a consistent flow of questions, so I guess I'm in the minority where the openness does matter. I don't do Apple. I don't do Bamboo. On the Bamboo side, it is mainly improper use of open source that bugs me. But I'm an old dude. Hey, look, and I totally get that. My one thing here is that I really wish if the for the open source stuff, like Prusa always talks about it, like Joseph Prusa, the owner of Prusa, always talks about it as well, like how specifically they are breaking open source. But like he's the holder that could hold them accountable for Prusa Slicer that they're in violation of, but he doesn't go after them. So it's interesting. But I guess now you have like some other website that's supposed to help, I guess. I don't know. Repairability is king, 100%. But also, Bamboo Lab has a ton of parts, a ton of wikis, and they're the only ones that really took the time to really do that. But a lot of companies are getting up with the times, and they are doing a lot more wikis. Keep up the great work. I appreciate it, man. What you guys got for me before we go? We got 5 more minutes. We'll do this till 9:30. Maybe we'll do another one tomorrow. I don't know. We'll see. It's been kind of fun. Maybe we'll look at some 3D printers and someone said stuff. Someone asked me about a printers in the range of $1,000. I said Snapmaker, X2D, or multiple printers, which is something not just but I agree. Two A2Ls, three Cobra 3Xs. Yeah, I agree because having two printers, that production increase is really, really nice. Like even two P1Ss, that is 100%. M3 is 3D, does one every day, does a live stream. Maybe I'll check them out. I'll have to write it down, something. Because if I don't write it down, I'll forget immediately. Yeah, see, and I think that's underrated, showing the QR codes and stuff. I know Snapmaker had some stuff to work out early on, but it does seem like they've worked out a lot of the kinks when it comes to their uh, a lot of stuff they had going wrong early on. But they really didn't have that much. Like they did have a pretty successful launch, honestly. Like, and props to that team because it's really sad what kind of stuff that we do now, or what kind of slop is being put out. Like all these marketing AI renders is just crazy. Also, if I still had the A6700 guys, this would have overheated by now. This camera has gone for 2.5 hours live streaming, and that is awesome. Favorite color to print everyday options, excluding black and white. Well, black and white's my favorite, but I really do like Bamboo Lab has this blue, just their generic blue. I really like that color for some reason. I don't know what it is. I just like the blue, so I've been going with that. And then also I was printing in a red ABS, but I really like the blue. All right, 3 minutes. We'll wrap this up. But again, look, 31 of you guys have been here pretty consistently throughout the whole live stream. We got 28 likes. Like the live stream on your way out, guys, before we wrap this up. All right, get a few. Of course, I'll leave up the VOD. I don't think I've really said anything I need to remove for the first live stream. I don't think so. You never know. Later, it could disappear, and it's because I said something I shouldn't have. Hey, man, I appreciate it. If everyone hit the like button twice, I would go viral. Oops. If you find a niche that sells, how do you get out of that and try something new without losing your? I assume that'd be the other word, but you don't. You do both. Why would you? If something's working, why would you get out of it? You know what I'm saying? Like you can slowly incorporate your business into another thing when you find success, and then you can drop the other thing once the other thing takes over. But don't drop something that's working. Okay, yeah, that's true, Ken. It does remove my like if it does remove the like if you hit it twice. So hit it 3 times and hit the hype button. And I definitely will try to live stream more. I think this has been pretty enjoyable, honestly. We'll see what the stats look like after this. Just kidding. It won't matter. I like connecting with you guys too, and I know you guys are the ones that like watch all the videos and stuff. So it only gets better. Definitely. When I'm 90, I hope to be the guy sitting on the front porch that says whatever they want. But all right, guys, I hope you guys all have a good night. It's been a pleasure. With that being said, we'll see you guys on the channel. And until next time, if we can figure out how to end this stream, you know what I'm saying?